BMW has dropped the new M4 Cs for 2025 model year. It squeezes out 543 horsepower from its twin-turbo inline-six. And in this video, we're going to have a look at what's new with the graphics. It's very similar to the new M4, obviously, but the CS still has some special treatment to the graphics to reduce it by, I think it was like 40 pounds or something like that over the M4. So we're gonna have a look at the front end, the side, the rear, and the interior of this car. But before we do that, let's have a look at the spec and tech from this article from Car and Driver. The M4 CS arrives as a slightly less extreme version of the track-focused CSL, shedding weight and gaining 20 ponies over the standard M4 competition. The 2025 M4 CS arrives with an enhanced twin-turbo 3-liter inline-six, power up to 543 horsepower compared to 523. Pricing starts at $124,675, which is around $16,000 less than the starting price of the 2023 M4 CSL. So this one, it slots in between the M4 competition and the more extreme CSL. So it's not sure if it's necessary to have a CS, because I think the levels between these are so tight now that maybe it doesn't make sense. I don't know, maybe it does make sense. The increase in power output mainly comes from raising the maximum boost pressure. Torque still remains at the same 479 pound-feet. You have an 8-speed automatic transmission, distributes power to the rear biased or all-wheel drive system. 0 to 60 is done in 3.4 seconds. I do think this is going to be quicker than that, because usually when BMW comes out with numbers, they're very extremely conservative when it comes to these 0 to 60 times. 124 miles per hour in 11.1 seconds. Top speed is limited to 188 miles per hour. A strange number to limit the car to. Usually it's 155, or at least it used to be back in the day, but now I feel like they can just let this rip if it's gonna go up to 188 anyway. So you have dual exhaust tips and a titanium rear silencer. BMW says the entire exhaust system is 8 pounds lighter than the regular M4. So it did a majority of the bulk of the weight savings probably comes from this exhaust system. Other targets for the CS was removing weight, of course, with BMW using considerable amounts of carbon fiber reinforced plastics all over this body. You have it on the hood, the roof, the front splitter, front air intake, side view mirrors, rear diffuser, and the rear spoiler. Highly bolstered, power adjustable, and heated M carbon bucket seats are also standard in this car. If you want to separate this visually from the normal M4, you can do that by having a look at the hood, where you have these two exposed carbon fiber channels on the hood, and the roof as well is also carbon fiber, as well as the aerodynamic features like the front splitter and the rear spoiler. And of course, when it comes to the lighting, CSL and CS models, they always have the yellow daytime run lights instead of the white ones. And you now also have the new very cool taillights, which are also going to add to the new 2025 i4. Also going to get these new taillights from the M4 CSL. You have two new colors, Riviera Blue and Frozen Isle of Man Green Metallic, which is this one right here. I think it looks great, specifically with these bronze wheels. However, these wheels though, in typical BMW fashion, they offer, they put 20s in the rear and 19s in the front. You have 275mm wide tires in the front, 285s in the rear, so pretty similar size here. You also have the option to upgrade to track-ready Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, but I want to have the option to have 20-inch wheels all around the car. Visually, it doesn't look, it just annoys me, because you can see the size difference in the wheels from front and rear, and I just want to have 20s all around. It can't be that hard to figure that out. You have a 3-spoke micro-suede wrapped flat-bottom steering wheel, which looks nice. Like other 2025 M4s, the CS feature a new curved display that is composed of a 12.3-inch gauge cluster and the 14.9-inch touchscreen. We've seen this in a lot of BMWs. It will start at $124,675, which is about $40,000 more than the competition coupe. So now, let's have a look at this design in Photoshop here, and let's see what's new with the M4 CS, the 2025 model year. First of all, looking at this color, this Frozen Isle of Man green, looks fantastic. It's a beautiful looking color. You can see that we still have pretty much the styling, overall styling is going to be the same. It's going to be the internal graphic features. For example, this skeleton grille to reduce even more weight, to have just these small bars in carbon fiber inside of the grille instead of having a complete mesh, reduces some of the weight in this car. And you can also see that we have these special CS carbon fiber stripes on the hood as well. The rest of the front end looks pretty similar to a normal M4, except for these side splitters here down here in each corner of the car. And we now have the amber or yellow daytime run lights there instead of the white ones. Carbon fiber side mirrors with the typical M horn cutting in on the top part of the side mirror. Now looking at the side view here, and I've done so many videos on the 4 Series, the M440, the i4 M50, talking about this shoulder line. And the thing is, it hasn't really grown on me. I can't say it has, because we have one line here, and we have the second line here, and the third shoulder line cutting here. And I just want to have one single line cutting through the entire car and have it be more structured, not break its collarbone right in the middle like this looks like it is, a zigzag shape like this. Makes it feel a little less strong than the M4, which has a solid shoulder line cutting from the very corner of the headlight to the corner of the taillight, and that is the main reason why I prefer the M3. We still have the same lines here at the bottom, of course, and the greenhouse. Everything looks the same as a normal M4, except for some carbon fiber pieces, as we talked about. And here you can see the difference between these wheel sizes. We have 19s in the front, 20s in the rear. Just put 20s all around. So I'm going to do that right now just to make it look visually appealing. So let's just copy this, move this over, and boom, we have solved the issue. We now have 20s all around, and this looks so much better than having a tiny little 19-inch in the front end. Now it at least looks symmetrical and it looks planted. It doesn't look like a Hot Wheels. Now looking at the rear end, this is by far my favorite view for this car, because we have a lot going on here that is beautiful in this design. We have a chamfer up top, this gorgeous chamfer that goes on top of the trunk right here. This chamfer is what I'm talking about. We also have the CS wing up here in carbon fiber, the roof all carbon fiber as well. These new beautiful diode taillights from the M4 CSL that is now also a part of the normal 4 Series Grand Coupe is coming back here in the M4 CS. And these are some very unique taillights. I don't think I've ever seen any manufacturer make taillights look this cool or in this way. This feels like a step forward when it comes to the technology and the design of taillights. I also love that we have chamfers around the key graphics here. You can see that we do have a small little chamfer here, making the taillights feel welcome in the rear end. And another chamfer here, which houses the BMW logo, M4 CS in red, typical for the CS and CSL models. And we still have the same type of line flow that we have in the normal M4 with these lines on the side. We also have another chamfer down here. So there's a lot of chamfers going on here, and in case you didn't know, I'm a huge fan of chamfers in the surfaces of cars, specifically when it comes to housing key graphics. And as you can see, this chamfer down here houses the diffuser, because we have a dual chamfer here. We have a big one up top, and then we have this small one right above it. So it has a very welcoming integration in the surface of the rear end for the diffuser. Not so sure about these sharp corners here. I would like to see this diffuser maybe have an angle, something like this. Typical M quad tailpipes here, round quad tailpipes sitting pretty tied together in a typical M fashion. Looking at the interior here, we've seen this interior so many times before as well. In this case, you do have the carbon fiber bucket seats, which are heated, which is pretty interesting. Usually when you have bucket seats like this, they do not come with any sort of heating or cooling setting, but in this case, they do. And we do have the same iDrive 8 or 8.5, I do believe this is. We have the 14-inch infotainment screen and the 12.3-inch gauge cluster right there. But look at the steering wheel. Beautiful Alcantara steering wheel, flat bottom, carbon fiber, M logo, paddles, of course, that are easy to reach because they're big enough, sticking down at the top and also sticking down right here at the bottom. A lot of carbon fiber in this car. You have carbon fiber, of course, in the bucket seats, and the entire lower piece of the dash, this separation between the top half and the lower half, all carbon fiber. However, we still have the climate control settings integrated in the infotainment screen. The only dial you have here is for the volume control, and you have some dials here, or buttons here for the drive modes here, for example, and the start button. And you can also use this to navigate the infotainment screen up here. As you can see, this being a CS, we don't have an armrest. Instead, you have this carbon fiber bucket, and then you have sort of a place where you can rest your hand on. I think that's pretty much all you're getting for when it comes to armrest. Let me know what you think about this car. I personally think it's a very cool car, even though I do want to have 20s all around. And I'm not so sure if this is necessary though, because we have the M4 Competition, which is already a very potent car. And then on top of that, we have the M4 CSL. So this slots in between there. It's always a good thing to have more performance pace out on the road. So I do think, after all, it is a pretty cool thing, specifically with these new taillights that BMW's integrated in their cars.